building activity.
Right.
In total number of units.
So you based your projections on actual activity then?
Generally, it's the first 10 years are on a titch higher.
Right.
Generally, you're in the realm of the last 10 years.
Of actual, okay, thanks.
Just a quick question with regards to that, which I appreciate. We have the comparison between 2010 and 2012, and the 2010 projections didn't reach any higher than 90 units in 2017, and now they're going up to 108. In some instances, they go from 80 to 103 or 108, and so we're moving 18 to 30 units more in our most recent projections. So somehow, I'm just not sure how, on what basis you made that dramatic change, like that we're going to be increasing that much more beyond, because the problem is that people are looking at these population projections and they're giving us a certain, there's relationships to the sewage treatment facility and things that they think that we have to be covering up these kind of projections for the future. And this is, it's kind of perplexing to see what you projected in 2010 and how dramatically increased it is in 2004.
Well, I mean, what we've gone through all of the different documents that you've had growth forecast with. You know, we've had historic charges, and we work with the planning department with this. We've got looked at the county projections. We've got your stuff from January 2008. There was an update in 2009 on different, I guess, engineering studies that were there. I mean, we've taken a look at all of the information that's there. We've looked at historic information. We've looked at the supply side of that projection.
Well, the county projections, which are right here, actually show a decrease. So from an average of 10,000 to just over 9,000. So I know that in the document itself, it references that you relied, when it states the numbers on the outside, it says you relied on the Dillon projections, right, which is, there's been question about that. I know I mentioned it to the consultant last time too. So I think that we as a council should rely on the 2010 projections more than 2012 in light of Statistics Canada, Lambton County's projections, all these kind of projections, because it's perception. And so,
from the, and I for you, Mr. Mayor, when we talked about the water and the wastewater charges, it will not affect those calculations at all. So that 80% of the charge is not influenced because it didn't run a capacity calculation. So that won't be affected.
yes.
And for the most part, when we look at a lot of the other services, there's if you want to cut the projection in half, then perhaps I would be putting more of the projects, if those were valid projects. I know you want to now revisit them, that's fine. But then if you just put those projects, if you hold that for a moment, I would go back and revisit those projects and probably post-period a lot of the cost.
That's right.
At the end of the day, the charges don't swing dramatically. And in fact, what's in here is considerably below the service levels that you do provide today. So what you are providing in this development charge is your, as you say, everything's, you know, a greater service level than you today think that a resident should have. Then this will be driving your service levels down over time. This charge won't be keeping pace.
Well, we hope to increase the population projections and the income.
And that's what I say, but your service levels will drive down as a result of that.
But it is important for us to have these accurate figures in our projections.
We're going to take a 5-minute break. We've gone on too long in morning coffee, so 5 minutes. We'll come back and hopefully we'll have some kind of direction, and we will hear from the public, or if someone wants to make a comment to a councillor in the middle when we're on our break. So if I could call us back to order, and if I know there's people from the public that would like to make a couple comments. If we could waive the section of our procedure by law by motion to do that, to give them an opportunity to speak. Councillor Russell and Councillor Deputy Mayor Dec.
Oh, no.
Just speak to this issue. All in favor of that? That's carried. Councillor Russell.
Before that happens, I'd like to put a motion on the table, is that all right? Before you ask the public to speak, I've got a motion to, part of what we do.
Should we not get input before we have a motion? If we have a motion, we have to have input. Let's go.
Excellent.
We've passed a motion to allow some public discussion, public comments regarding this. Anyone from the public want to speak? Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Go ahead.
That might be all day.
That's
I
okay.
can,
I might be like Mike Sanders.
stand up and identify yourself.
Yeah.
Mark?
Go ahead.
Good morning, my name is Martin Shuey. Most of you know me, I've been here before, and I guess the last time I was here was in July. And maybe just a word on the development charge fundamentally. I guess I could use that quote from Kevin Costner's movie Field of Dreams, build and they will come. I think really applies for this as well. I always think you, back to that meeting in July, you do something that may prohibit people from doing something here, they'll never be there. There's other ways to build and get people in, then it pays for itself. Toronto 100 years ago, if they weren't astute, the people would never be there if they prohibited people from coming. My meeting in July, this specifically relates to the greenhouse. As you know, I've built a 5-acre greenhouse. In July I was here, and at that time we had talked about building fees and development charges. The greenhouse that I've built is something new in Lantern Shores, but it is not a new type of business in Ontario. OMAF defines commercial greenhouses as a bona fide farm use. And if we go back to that meeting in July, I think fundamentally that was where the issue lied, was what is this that Martin is building? We don't know this, and hence we had this definition that extended beyond what we also define agriculture as. And I think we're still missing that connection between bona fide farm use and a greenhouse. I know it looks impressive on Northville Road, but it's really simple. It really is. It's a full structure that builds or that grows plants. And I think we just need to go back to that definition and say, are we disconnecting a greenhouse from everything else that falls under the bona fide farm use? And I think we do. I want to have council down as soon as I can get out of these clothes and have the plants in sometime in January, and then you can really see what's involved. I know there's someone else here, and I think some of you may recognize his face, Adrian Rollins, who's looking at possibly building a greenhouse here as well. And as I said at that time, the economic development of the greenhouse, I have 8 full-time employees employed already, locally. This is the start. This is how you get people here. This is how you create people to stay here, put children in the schools. So fundamentally, I think, and I think Derek will probably want to touch on the numbers a little bit, but the proposed charges, if I put the numbers together, you guys would fall off your chairs. I would be financing the development charge for the whole municipal shores. But it's just doesn't work. At that time in July, I said, this is not in line with every other township. We need to take a look at it. Everyone agreed. And I said it's important that not only we look at for this build, but also for the future. And everyone agreed the future is just as important as today. And I made clear at that time, if there is no agreement what is based for the future, I need to go somewhere else, because I cannot pay for something like that. It's impossible. anyways, I'll end it on that note, but